Hey everybody, it's Tmika and I am here to do a tutorial on this folio I created using the Prima Amelia Rose paper collection. I will put the link in the description box to the reveal or the show and tell of this folio, but several of you had asked for a tutorial, so here I am to do that for you. This is super cool. I really love how everything turned out. So let's go ahead and get started with the items that we're going to need. I am using a Recollections paper pad because I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's the Fantasy Floral paper, and I got this at Michael's. It's a beautiful, just a beautiful dark and floral blue and pinks. So I really like how that is. Now the folio that I showed you, this one, Amelia Rose, is 8 by 10. So I don't need another one, and I'm actually going to put the one that we create today up in my Etsy. So if you're interested in it before it goes up, leave a comment below. But it's going to be a more usable size because I found that I like to carry these things in my purse, and I've been carrying it just on the side, and it's better if it was smaller because I'm not using all of the space, so it has a lot more real estate than I actually need. So to make it more portable, I'm going to downsize it to a 6 by 8. So this is an 8 by 10. I think a 6 by 8 was a good size and it could fit in my purse, so if I was to make one. So that's the size that we're going to use, that we're going to do today. Starting out, I'm going to use some heavyweight chipboard. I get my chipboard from Amazon. This is came in a 12 by 12 in black, so it's a nice sturdy size. And you're going to need 2 pieces cut at 6 by 8, and then 1 piece cut. First, before I say this, these measurements are pending how you cut your paper. So like how fat you cut your calendar and how fat you cut your extra copy paper. This is predicated on how thick that is. So for mine that I cut, this is 3/4 inch by 8. Okay, because my papers aren't that fat. My papers is a little bit more than a 1/2 inch. See, I know this black is giving a glare here. So I will put a link to this simple calendar that I found free download, and then I just shrunk it down. It comes in, I think, 8 by 10. I just shrunk it down to, oh, I think 60%. I think 60%. But just play around with your settings, and I cut it close to the edge. And then you need your copy paper. This is just your normal standard 20-pound weight copy paper. Now my copy paper is cut at, I think, 5 by 5.5. Let me make sure. 5 by 5.5, and so is my calendar. So you'll want to cut that at 5 by 5.5. When you download the calendar, everything, this part has to match equally because it's going to be stacked on top of each other. So this whole section is 5 by 5. So I printed off the calendar, shrunk it down on my printer, and you know, when you get ready to print, you can shrink it down to 60%. Printed it off, cut it down to where I wanted it to be cut down, and it ended up being 5 by 5.5. And then I went to cut some copy paper. Now again, your spine is predicated on how much copy paper you cut, not so much calendar because that's 12 sheets. So when you get done cutting as much as you want to cut or how thick you want it, you take it and you grab some paper clips, or this is what I did. I grabbed a couple paper clips, put them on there to hold it, and then you want to measure, you know, you want to put one on each end and measure that out, and that's how thick you want your spine. You want to have at least a little bit hangover. See, let me see if I can show you. See that it's just barely, it's a tinge hanging over. So that's what I want. I don't want a whole bunch of bulk. I want it to be sleek and pristine. So that's what I did. So I'll put the link in the description box below for that. This is a little different tutorial because I didn't make this yet. We're going to make it right now together. So it's really a come and craft and chat with me / tutorial. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to put this aside. I got my heat gun. I got my heat gun heating up because we're going to have to get those papers together, those copy papers together. So we're going to take this and we're going to wrap it. I'm using some 12 by 12, just 12 by 12 sheets from anywhere. I think these came from Michael's, and I accidentally rolled over it on my chair when I put my stuff in the pile and accidentally rolled over, but that's fine. It's gonna be under stuff anyway, but I hate when I do that. So you guys know how I wrap, or how most people wrap. We're going to connect these two sheets because it's not enough. Let's see here. Get it together. It's not enough for this to be wrapped like this together. If you put the two chipboards together, that's barely, like it's the exact amount because they're both cut at 6, but you still have to add your spine. So we're going to connect two pieces of the 12 by 12 together to make it a longer piece, so that we can work with it. Let me just get my little thing here. All right. So got some double-sided tape I put on there, and then I'm just going to line this up to the edge. Okay, press it down. Okay, so then we're going to take our chipboard pieces and add tape to the back, and just be generous with the tape so that you don't mess up your hard work after you get done and it starts to come apart from the paper. So I'm going to do this and I'll be back. All right, I have all my pieces layered in tape, so I wanted to show you how much tape I actually use, so you can have an idea how serious I am about making sure that this is adhered. Okay, so I'm going to start with my spine piece, and I'm going to line this piece up. Take my tape off. I'm going to line this piece up with the spine on the opposite side where it connects. I'm going to line it up there, so this is dead center in the middle of that. Not this one, that's over some. This one. So you just kind of eyeball it. It's about right there. So I'm just going to line that up like so. And then I'm going to take my covers, front and back covers, and then stagger them on either side, leaving a, I don't know, 1/4 inch, eighth of an inch gap. So something like that. Can you guys see? Okay, about that much. And then make sure that it's lined up and adhere down. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. That's how that's done. Alright, I'm going to take my bone folder and just kind of follow along, kind of to get prepare the paper to be folded up. And then I'm just going to gently fold this over to meet the edges. I'm not creasing hard at all. Just folding it over because I don't want my paper to crack. Okay, so we're going to cut off the extra. I know this is all black, but I'm hoping that you guys can at least hear my voice. So this is all extra. I'm going to have about an inch hangover on all sides. Alright, so now you guys have seen me do this plenty of times, where these corners meet right here, the little intersection there. You want to cut off right past where they intersect. So I'm going to just like, oh, you can't see that. You're not going to be able to see it. Oh, wait. I got chalk marker. Alright, so right where they intersect, you want to go right above that so that this can fold over nicely. So you want to kind of cut it right about there. See the corner? That's where they meet. You want to cut it right about there. This is a darn good chalk marker. I like. So, so about right there. And you want to do that for all the corners. Okay, so that's done. Now this can fold over nice and neat. neatly. So now you want to take your double-sided tape and adhere down all these pieces or whatever adhesive you're using. And then take that off. And then I'm going to fill this in with some ATG just because I really want it to stay. Take my bone folder and then do it again. Nice crisp edges. Now when you get to this part, you want to cut a little triangular slit in between where the gap is, but not going past the score mark. Little triangles so that it'll fold without bulk in those parts. Just a little bit. Just be careful. Okay. And now you can tape off. It's easier for, well, yeah, it is. It's easier for me to add the tape and then cut off the extra than to be cutting and slicing all these little pieces on the row. Okay, I'm going to add some ATG tape. And then I'm going to fold that up. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. And I'm going to fill it in as well with some ATG tape. Folds over so much nicer because we kind of prepped it a little bit to be prepared to fold. If you have any corners you don't like it's a little bit here that's hung over, just a little bit, I'm just going to trim off. It's literally a little hair. I'm going to trim that off. And this is what you should have so far. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is grab my pattern paper. Now if you want to save on pattern paper, you can cover this whole thing in black or whatever coordinating paper you've been wrapping this in, and then just put the two pieces, you know, on either side. You can do that. I'm just going to save myself a step and then use the pattern paper for this part. So we need to cover it. So this obviously won't fit, so that's why I have two sheets. So I'm going to cut this down, both of these down to 8 inches. So I like this border because by wrapping it, you added an extra, you know, 1/4 inch to your project. So I am going to cut one of these papers down so that they end a little bit past the spine, because I don't want my paper to end here and cracks. I'm going to end it somewhere around here and then cover up the next sheet with another piece. So I'm going to show you that in a second. So let me just show you. So this is going to go right about here. So I'm going to cut it. I don't have a measuring system. I just lay it on here and then I just see where I want it to be cut. So I'm going to cut it at about 8.5 inches. And then this next piece, I'm going to cut it to 6 inches because that's the side of our, that's the size of the side of our panel. So remember, these aren't definite measurements if you are making a bigger one. So, but this will definitely show you how to make the folio. All right. So that's going to go here, like so. I'm going to glue that down, and then it'll ream over into this side, and then this side will meet it up and finish up right there. So this will be right in that crease. So don't put any adhesive on this yet, just the bigger piece. And then just line that up with the left hand side. Oh, let's get on camera here. Creating your nice border. Just be sure that you're being careful that it's even. Perfect. And then take your bone folder and then just give it a good firm press all over. Okay, then take your bone folder and lightly help your paper fold into where your spine is. Just give it a little guide. Okay, and gently fold that up. See? Now, so that's how that should look. Super cute. Now this paper is going to go here, but first we need to cut it down a little bit to be able to fit our papers. So we're going to put this aside for a quick second. So I'm going to use this paper. It's a double-sided paper, really pretty, to cover my calendar. So we know that this is 5 by 5.5, so you want to see what size is which, or just measure it. I like to measure and keep measuring. So this is 5. So what I do is, and the long side is 5.5. So I'm going to cut this paper down to 5.5, because we know that's how tall it is, and we don't want any overage. We want it exactly 5.5. All right, so this is our paper, 5.5 by 12, and what I'm going to do is measure it just like so. I'm going to line them up flush together and fold it over. It's like a little book. I don't want to cut it, because I could have just cut it to see 5.5 plus 5.5 is 11, and then about 3/4 of an inch. I could have cut it to, you know, that much, but I like it better this way because I can get an accurate measurement. So I'm wrapping it over and then pressing tight. I'm going to kind of make myself a flat back, because that's where, kind of like to crease it, that's where I'm going to adhere my papers to. So this is all measured. Press that down. I mean, just get that in there real tight. I'm going to get my bone folder to make my mark. Hold that there. Flip it over. Hold that there. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut off the extra. See? Super cool. So that's like that. Now what I want to do is take out my papers. All right. And then I'm going to add glue. So be careful. This is not for the faint of heart. I'm going to add some clips to my papers so that they can stay exactly where I need them to stay. They are perfectly aligned. Just adding some binder clips. See, perfectly aligned. And then the glue is going to go on that side, and then that's going to go in there. So line that up. I would prefer my big fat hot glue gun for this, but because it comes out in globs, which is what I like, but this is okay. And just glob this hot glue in there, just a lot of it. In between that mark that you made. Put that up at the top, and then just, ooh, that's hot. That's right. Use your bone folder, honey, and just hold it. I am holding it and pressing it. Any excess that you have, just kind of clean that up. So I'm going to take this and then just kind of, you guys want to know how my process works, don't laugh, don't knock the process. And then I just keep making sure that's in there. All right. You can take these clips off. If you got everything, your paper should be in there. Okay. And hopefully you're not doing this to your book anyway, but they're in there. Okay. So that's done. Now we got to do the calendar. It's pretty simple. Take your calendar. I stapled it already. Staple is going across the top. I've already just bent this part. And then I'm going to use, this is the leftover piece from that. That fit perfectly right on top of there. But I am going to fold it over. Flip it over to the opposite side. So I'm just going to use some double-sided tape for this. Put it on here. I have it a little lower than I'd like, but it's okay. So that's going to sit up there like that. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue to the back of this. A little joy. And then match this up and layer it on top. And then you have that. So now we can bring back in the book, because we have to measure out this back piece right here. So in order to make this sturdy, I'm going to have to add some chipboard to the back of here, just to make it sturdy, so nobody's going to see this part. You can either, we'll add chipboard to the inside, and then we can cover it as well, but I just added chipboard to the back, but feel free to cover that up. All right, so you need a piece of you need a piece of chipboard cut at 5 by 5.5. You can either hot glue this on, or you can glue it on, just like so. Gives it a nice sturdiness. So this is going to go here, but we're going to layer this right on top, like so. So we'll need to cut a slit in this paper before adhering it down. So I'm going to line this paper up the best I can with the lines that's already on here. Okay, and then take this top half and layer it where you want it at, so that you can cut your piece. That looks perfect right there. So I'm just going to get a pencil and mark it where I want to cut my line, just like so. Now you can use your X-Acto knife or your trimmer and cut this line. Okay. I got my little line there. So now we want to add tape all around here, and if you have smaller tape to go right there, of course. If not, use wet glue, or or cut your tape in half, but you want to make sure that you get that line right there. So, one thing I forgot to mention, a little trick that I forgot to do, and let me show you how to do it, is if you have your piece of paper and let's just say you need to slice it. When you get to so you put your slit in order for you not to like rip your corners, take a hole punch and punch it at the ends like this, and do that on both sides. Of course I can't do it because I don't reach, but like that. And then you can slide your book in there and give you like a little leeway. It'll kind of prevent you from like ripping your papers through. So, and it looks neat too. So that's a little trick that's in there. Super cute. Now feel free to make your book bigger than you want, bigger than your calendar. Totally up to you. So this is where we're at so far. Now let's do the pockets. Okay, so these are the papers that I'm going to use for the pockets. So you want to cut a pocket or two pockets at 9 by 4. And then you want one piece cut at 9 by 3. And you want to score at a 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch. And flip it. 1/2 inch. And then this is 4, so I'm going to 3.5. And so you want to do that to all pieces of your papers. You have 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, all the way around. Alright, so you have all your pieces scored. So what you want to do is fold them over and crease them up really well. The bone folder. I'm going to do that to all the sides. There's 3 pockets. So the 2 bigger pockets are first, and then the smaller pocket is at the bottom. FYI, so you want to cut your paper accordingly. Alright, this is what you're going to do to all of them. You're going to find which way is up. Alright, and I'm going to add some double-sided tape to the top of the paper. So, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use my ATG. Alright, and you want to fold that down. So this is the top one. You fold that down just like that. Okay, and then you want to miter the corners like you did with the cover. You want to do that to the bottom 2 pieces, just like so. So you have something like this. And at the top, you want to take out another miter just where the score line is, just like that. So just to that score line and then at an angle. So it'll be like this, okay? And then do that to all of them, and then we're going to come back. Alright, so I have folded over all of my edges so that they can be a nice smooth, clean when you're reaching for whatever it is you're putting in these pockets. You don't have that straight edge that looks raggedy and you get paper cuts. So this is how mine will line up. I love these super cute patterns. So what I'm going to do is bring my book back in. Alright, so now we just have to layer at this point. Now you could be super special and then like layer these on top of each other so that they wrap around, but you'd have to cut them a little bit wider in order for them to fit, or else they'll buckle. Or you could just roll them right on top like this, but you want to make sure you got it layered how you want it before you glue it down, of course. You could just be extra if you want. I think I'm going to switch this around to here. Put this down at the bottom. You just don't want to go past that score mark down there. And then you want to layer them on top of each other. So I think that's how I want it. Okay, a little pencil mark. So I'm just going to add ATG tape to the back of the flaps on the side and the bottom. And layer that so it doesn't go past the book edge. You got that. And then you want to repeat that with the middle one. I really originally had this little one at the bottom, but I don't like how, I mean, it's okay, This is how they would line up, but I don't want two dark pieces. I want to kind of break up that monotony a little bit. So I'm going to put this here. Yeah. Put it right about there. Lining it up with the one right before it. Ooh, okay. I can't see. I'm gonna have to do it this way, guys. Okay, and then one more, and there we go. You have pockets, pocket, and pocket to put your stuff in. And then feel free to, and the previous one I had like a little pocket here, and then for the pen, I don't like the pen here on that book. I always have to, you know, fiddle through it. It's floppy with the elastic. I mean, it's okay, but it's floppier. You could, all you had to do is cut 2 little slits and then feed the elastic through before you lay this paper down. Really easy. But I am just going to add my pen to the side, and then I'm using my big fat, I forget what this is called, Crocodile 2, yeah. And I'm just going to kind of center it, punch a little hole there, and I'm going to feed some elastic through so that I can have a closure piece. We're not done yet, but just want to make sure that that's, just pull that through, and then I'm just going to hold it. That's how tight I want it. Let's hold it right there and mark it by, I'm going to tie a little knot. And you know, you can hang charms or whatever you want, but it's meant to be like a sleek design. So that's done. And so yeah, my pen, I'm just going to attach on the side to this one. My little binder clip. I'm using a Mommy pen with the little pearls. It's copper. It's super cute. It's going to go right on the side. See how perfect that fits? Like right there. And then I have some extra paper. That the 8x10 one, I had so much space left over. I was able to make the pad a lot bigger. So we can do courage and dreams, or love and dreams, and then happiness from within. I think I just might keep this one for myself. That's what I'm thinking. So while we're here with this out, I'm going to come back and lay that down. Let's get our covers cut. I'm going to cut it down to 6x8, and one more. I got some die cuts, or some little word sayings here. So let's get to pasting some stuff down. So I'm going to get my little strips here, and I'm going to adhere this down to the bottom. I love that. And then happiness blooms from within. It's going to go across the top. That's super cute. I love it. Alright, so let's do the front covers. So I cut 2 pieces at 6x8. Feel free to do 2 different colors, but I'm going to mat this. Alright, have a little bit of a border like that. Perfect. I love the sleek. Love the sleek. Okay. And then I cut this out the paper. I cut it down to 5.5 by 6. It says, a life lived in love will never be dull. And this is going to be matted just to give it a little bit of distinction. It's going to be matted on top of a piece of paper that's 1/4 inch larger. So this is cut at 5 3/4 by 6 1/4. And then we're going to mat this whole thing to the front. Okay. Just like so. And then that now can hang there. So you can put a little charm on there. So this is how that looks again. Feel free to put pocket stuff in there. What I did for this one is I had some receipts in here, I think. Yeah, you can put stickers in there. Let's steal a sticker out of here. And some notes. I got receipts, coupons, and then back here I have a clear pocket where you can put extra stuff in there. So that's that one. And we can put this in here. We'll put it in there. There we go. That's it. So hopefully you guys like this tutorial. I know it was a little bit unorthodox. I was all over the place, but we made it through. We made it through the wilderness. Alright, so yeah, hopefully you liked it. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. And yeah, I'm keeping this for myself. I was going to sell it, but it's so cute. And plus I messed up on this paper, but I mean, I guess I could iron it down, but yeah, I'm going to keep it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Like the video if you like it, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.